Hi, this is Martin Drummond with Progressive News. It's Saturday, August 17th, 2019. And I did this segment a couple days ago when I first heard about Israel barring Rashida Tlaib and Omar. What's her first name? Anyway, from Israel. And at the time, I thought that what it said was that they were among 41 Democrats invited, but they weren't, or that the Democrats were invited and 41 of them went, but Rashida Tlaib and Omar were barred after they were going to go or something. So anyway, since then I've probably helps this story that since then I've heard that they were in fact going together just to look around occupied Palestine, basically. So I don't know what the deal is exactly, but what I originally wanted to do the story about, and still want to do the story about, is the weak-kneed Democrats and their love for Israel. I understand Israel as a pawn, really, or a military tool of the United States in the Middle East. And one of these days I'm going to really figure out where I should stand as an American regarding military and power, and because, like it or not, the United States has remained a safe place for people, as has Russia and a lot of Europe since World War II. Turkey, in fact, much of the world is a safe place to live your life, right? For the most part. I mean, yeah, something may happen, and just regular life type accidents happen, fires, tornadoes, hurricanes, whatever, right? So overall, I would say everybody faces those kind of things. So, how much do I owe what are basically my enemies for keeping me safe? I don't know. That's an issue. And after I give it a lot of thought, I'll do a nice segment on it. But right now, what I see is Israel being a pain in the ass and a pariah, and creating the opposite of what I just said. Safety and, a safe place for people to raise their kids and live their lives. Boring, right? That's how I would like my life to be, as boring. Right? I moved because I want to, not because I'm run out, because bombs are dropping all over where I used to live, which is so much, and that happened to me once, right? I had to leave Lebanon because of that situation. I mean, I still have the bullets that were found all through the house when our stuff was shipped back to us. If I'd stayed, I might have been standing in front of them when it hit. So, to me, anyway, as a progressive Democrat, right, which is almost like saying I'm in a different party. I'm not a member of the Democratic Party, because they're the establishment Democratic Party, and I'm the progressive Democrat. We're the ones trying to take back our party name that's been stolen from us. So from that point of view, I see, Israel as being my enemy, and Zionism as being a destructive influence and creating all kinds of enemies for me as an American. All kinds of the Palestinians hated me when I lived in Lebanon, and my family and the Americans there, and they hate America, and so do most of the people in the Middle East, that kind of thing. And it just, at this point, I would have just rathered that Israel had never come into existence, right? Just like the Hamas and Hezbollah and people like that believe, that they should have just stayed in Europe. And so from that point of view, I have to say that establishment Democrats, they're assholes, And I'm even wondering about progressives, because every single one of the progressives, absolutely, the progressive caucus and what have you, that are whatever's progressive of the Democratic Party, should out and out say absolutely none of them will even go to Israel or associate with Israelis or Zionists in any way. If they bar progressives from going into Israel, or make it like, there's no way around it. They're fucking the Palestinians that are in occupied Palestine, and they're fucking with anybody around the world, mainly Muslims, who oppose them in any way. And I'm sure they don't like people like me either, right? The Drummond family has gone from doing Israel's dirty work, spying on the Palestinians, to help, possibly to help try and assassinate Yasser Arafat, which you never know how much my dad had to do with that, but definitely spying on them to help run them out of Lebanon. I know that's what my father's main business with the intelligence community was all about. So my family goes from being that to being me, pro BDS, pro anything to get Israel to mellow out, basically. At this point, I've made it clear where I stand. I don't believe in shedding any more blood to try and get the Israelis out. All it could possibly result in is a massive nuclear strike on the Middle East, and who knows where else. Israelis have this, all or nothing kind of point of view. Maybe they'd try to basically sabotage or blow up or kill the whole world. They have a biblical way of thought, They think they're the chosen people. Nobody's the chosen people. People are the chosen people. God. So anyway, my main point of this segment is that the Democrats are a bunch of pussies. Instead of, they should have, every one of them, set up a situation like this so that all 41 of them could have said, no, we're not going to Israel. This was AIPAC that invited them. What are they going for? Why are they going to AIPAC here in the United States? God, This isn't my party. The Democratic Party isn't my party. The Democratic Party doesn't cater to the Zionists, and it should be, you know, smacking their pee-pee every time they come around. No, we won't visit you. You borrow two of our congresswomen. No, won't have nothing to do with you. So yeah, that's my main point here. And I haven't seen it in the media. I saw one thing that I haven't actually watched yet, where it talks about the Democrats' weak response, and it's on. It was on yesterday's Democracy Now! I have to check it out, because that would be the only thing I've seen that talks about this since I came up with it on Thursday, I believe, when this all broke. And I did a piece, but it turned out I didn't have my microphone on, so it was kind of useless. Not kind of, completely useless. But, yeah. You know, where's that strong response? And if it is it may be a media blackout, because for some reason I'm not seeing Kyle, I'm not seeing Mike, I'm not even seeing David Dole noticing that even progressives don't seem to have come out. I was hoping this thing from AOC here says what other Democrats won't admit to. I was hoping that was going to be the response I was looking for, but that's something else. Doesn't have anything to do with it's got to do with local politics and stuff. So I don't see it. I don't see it. And I don't see my fellow progressives coming out and pointing out we're not seeing it even from progressives. Where's the progressive response? Saying, well, no progressive in the Democratic Party will even talk to Zionists until they straighten out their bullshit, right? Until they back off this bullshit. And you know what the Israelis should be doing? They should be racing to speak to Ilhan Omar. That's her first name, Ilhan. They should be racing to speak to her. You know, her being elected is their opportunity to try to iron out some of the problems. Tlaib. They should be racing to speak to Tlaib. And, you know, we should have a new dialogue between anti-Zionist American politicians and the Israeli government. But instead they double down, triple down, quadruple down, infinitely double down on their position. And why? Because they know they're a vital military asset for the United States in the Middle East. Isn't that really what it's all about? And if that's true, let's just lay our hands on the table. Lay our cards on the table. Right? You know, I've always said it's always going to be a one-state solution anyway. They're never going to let the two-state solution happen. So let's do the one-state solution. Let's make Palestinians equal citizens, and so let's stop this Israeli bullshit of passing laws says you can only be an Israeli citizen if you're Jewish. You know, we either draw the line, that line, for instance, or we go the other way, like I'm saying, and we turn Israel into a pariah to the United States and possibly Europe, or let the British and some of the Europeans support them. I don't care. And we find the Palestinians a new homeland. I say right on the U.S.-Mexican border. It's the climate that they like, are used to. We take the $1 billion a year, which it's probably more than that now, that we give to Israel. We pump it into creating a wonderful new place in America. They'd be Americans, but they'd be treated equally. Or make it their own land, but obviously if they're going to be funded by America, then they're going to be thinking like Americans at least. And if they're living on the border, they're going to be bilingual, and most of them are anyway. But anyway, I don't want to get into that right now. But the point is that we're going to have to think creatively. We're going to have to make some major changes to the way we're doing things now if we want to straighten this shit out. And if we're not willing to get Israel to help in any way, then we're going to have to do it outside of that. Alright? I don't know. By the time I get done thinking of it, I'm twice as confused as when I started. Right? And those are the situations that we really need an answer to. We need to solve the really hard problems. And by that I mean in the real world. So when we're done with whatever we're going to do, there's no longer this huge potential for violence and turmoil, right? Settled down. Like I said, boring. So back to a life where all the people involved, Palestinians, Israelis, Americans, the Middle East, the world, Europe, United States, are all the people can count and expect, and rightfully so, a boring life. Anyway, so this is Martin Drummond with Progressive News. Democrats are just as fucked up as always. Hope you had hope you enjoyed the show.